أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. O Lord, open the doors of wisdom and mercy and shower your blessings upon us. Amen. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amin. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are going to be going over the second ray today, second ray, third station. Although we did briefly read this third station, the first two paragraphs of the first sign and proof last Saturday, but there is a need to look into it again, and so we can move and proceed further, inshallah. And this piece is about divine unity. How can I affirm divine unity within myself through whatever I observe around me, within me, and how can my heart be truly satisfied with that which I conclude. So now it's a matter of really bringing my conclusion and introducing it to my human feelings. So, Bismillah. Third station. In this station, three universal signs of the affirmation of divine unity will be explained. Three universal signs of the affirmation of divine unity will be explained. The signs, proofs, and evidences of divine unity are incalculable. Since thousands of them have been explained in detail in the Illuminating Lamp, in this third station, three universal proofs are set forth briefly. Again, this is the race, page 37. The first sign and proof. The phrase, "He is one," is the conclusion of this. The phrase, "He is one," is the conclusion of this. There is a unity in everything, and unity points to one. There is a unity in everything, and unity points to one. Yes, a work that has unity self-evidently proceeded from one maker. One proceeds from one. The fact that there is a unity in everything demonstrates that they are the works and artifacts of a single being. The fact that there's a unity in everything demonstrates that they are the works and artifacts of a single being. The universe is like a rosebud. The universe is like a rosebud, swathed, how would you say that? Swathed in 1,000 veils of unity. The universe is like a rosebud, swathed in 1,000 veils of unity. Or it is a single macroanthropos, or it is a single macroanthropos dressed in unities, to the number of divine names and universal divine works. Or it is a tuba-tree of creation on the branches of which are hung unities to the number of realm of creatures. I have to read this paragraph again. So the phrase "he's one" is the conclusion of this. So there's a unity in everything, and unity points to one. Yes, a work that has unity self-evidently proceeded from one maker. One proceeds from one. The fact that there is a unity in everything demonstrates that they are the works and artifacts of a single being. So the question would be then, what does unity means? Like, what does it mean that there is a unity in everything? So only by knowing, by recognizing that there's a unity in everything, will I be able to conclude that it is the work and artifacts of a single being. And so the universe is like a rosebud swathed in 1,000 veils of unity. Or it is a single macroanthropos dressed in unities to the number of divine names and universal divine works. Or it is a tuba-tree of creation on the branches of which are hung unities to the number of rounds of creatures. Let's read the second paragraph as well and see how can we connect this. Yes, the administration of the universe is one and the same, and its regulation is one and the same. Its sovereignty is one and the same. Its stamp is one and the same. 1,001 things are all one and the same. So pretty much the qualities that I observe: administration, organization, regulation. Something is keeping everything intact, and it is pointing to a one and the same. Okay. Also, although the names and acts which make the universe turn are one and the same, the names and acts which make the universe turn are one and the same. They each encompass the universe or most of it. So the act of creation, or the qualities that I see, which make up the universe, they also point to a one and the same, or here it's saying they are one and the same, perhaps as far as their being given existence is concerned. They each encompass the universe or most of it. That is to say, the wisdom that works in it is one and the same. The bestowal in it is one and the same. Its regulation is one and the same. The providing of sustenance in it is one and the same. The mercy which hastens to assist the needy is one and the same. The rain, which is that mercy's dispenser of soft drinks, is one and the same, and so on. Thousands of things are all one and the same. The sun, the universe's stove, is one and the same. The moon, its lamp, is one and the same. Fire, its cook, is one and the same. Its mountains, which are its stores, treasuries, and masts, are one and the same. Its water dispensers are one and the same. Its sponges, which water the gardens, are one and the same. 1,001 things are all one and the same. So it seems that everything that we interact with, creation, qualities, the author is saying is one and the same. So it doesn't matter if I may be interacting with the sun or fire, or just things that we see around us. It's one and the same, but we'll try to make sense more about what this actually means and entails. But let's finish up this next paragraph. All these instances of unity in the world are proofs indicating the single one of unity, as clear and brilliant as the sun. Moreover, the elements and realms of beings of the universe, each encompassing the face of the earth, as well as being one and the same, and their interpenetration and their uniting through their mutual relations and even mutual assistance, are clear signs that their owner, maker, and master is one and the same. So pretty much, I mean, what the author, at least for me, is drawing my attention to everything around me. How if I really pay close attention to their coming into existence, I cannot separate any one element of the universe from the rest of creation. And I remember that analogy of the carpet that was brought up as well in our discussion last week and before that, was that how the threads are so interwoven in such a way that all the threads make up the carpet, in terms of I cannot separate one thread from the rest of the carpet, because then it defeats the purpose of being a carpet. And similarly, we can apply the same case to creation around us, the universe. All the qualities are so meshed in together, just like the author gives the example of a rosebud swathed in 1,000 whales of unity. So there are so many petals, but it forms a rosebud. So I think it's everything that we see also in sequence for us, but it's all pointing to one and the same. But let's see if anyone wants to share in any of their reflections on this, or if you want to make any comments on this, please feel free to share, because I was particularly also trying to make sense of the first paragraph, how he's introducing these interesting concepts, like the fact there's a unity in everything demonstrates that they are the works and artifacts of a single being. And I think maybe we can make sense of it in terms of how the order or everything that we see work with the rest of creation. So I cannot separate the movement of the clouds from the passing moment to all the feelings that are imparted onto me. It's all coming into existence at the same time. And so all of this change that we experience, act of creation, it points to a single being. And I think that the question I'm wondering about is how do we make this connection that everything is pointing to a single being? So that's the question I have. So let's see if anybody wants to share out or make any comments on that. Ali Murmur, go ahead.
Let's start the interactive conversation. I mean, how can we come to the conclusion that everything comes from one? It is the subject of this passage we read, as far as I understand. For example, if I'm not mistaken, the art experts, when they find a piece of art, whatever the subject is, I mean, the subject of the art is, doesn't matter. What they see, that there is no sign to which or to what this or to whom this piece of art belong. This it belongs to. So what they do, they look at the art quality, which kind of art, and the quality of art is manifested there. They say, okay, this and this and this. Oh, this is the characteristics of this famous artist. Oh, it must belong to him. Now, first we have to understand that the universe is macroanthropos, which means, I think you know, if I know something in English, definitely you know, it is the greatest man. I mean, it's a human being. I don't know whether we can see the universe as a human being or not. Some people does. Some people do. Sorry. Some people do. That is just a big human being. Universe is a human being. Where is consciousness? Oh, where is your consciousness? Now, all the human qualities are within this body. All the qualities manifested in human being are also explicitly manifested in the universe, and that is their human quality, if you like, consciousness. So that's why Quran says, yeah, universe is making tasbihat, glorification of God. You have to make as well, join to the orchestra of the universe. It means the universe has the same stamp in each of its part. For example, let's start from the simple. The power. If an atom needs an absolute power to come into existence, and the sun needs an absolute power to come into existence, galaxies and everything to come into existence, they need the same quality. Knowledge, again, in order to give existence to something, one has to have absolute knowledge. No one can create one cell without absolute knowledge, give existence to it. So everywhere is the same quality, same quality, same quality. So they all together also make one single unit, like a human being. Can you call my arm a human being? No. Can you call my, I don't know, head a human being? No. All together makes a human being. So you cannot separate them. Although they are separate units, but they make clear for me that this human being is the product of one single source, whose qualities are manifesting themselves equally in every part of it. That's how the universe is. That's how the human being is. So how can you not say, oh, if someone is able to say, human works, of course, I mean, there is a design for a machine, for example, but every human, other individuals, they contribute to the design from one aspect, but the design, they know that the ultimate bulk of the gadget or whatever technological production is bulk of the machine, let's put it simply. They know this is going to be a part of it, so that the part is going to fit into the whole body, because the whole body is there in the minds of the master engineer, if you like, in the mind of the master engineer. Even this is a human action, but still we see the unity there. It means we shouldn't confuse with the human human actions and the creation of the universe. Creation of the universe takes place with no interference at once, every time, everywhere is the same, but continuously changing. and renewed. Human beings, of course, they benefit from the order of the universe as much as they can and share and combine their work, but still, ultimately, there is one project. The project is the one project, and the pieces all fit into that project, demonstrates that every piece is made according to this one project. It means one project is there, and the mastermind of that one project is only one. Uh, so, I mean, human needs help. Don't confuse that. But the universe doesn't show that the things are coming into existence. The human being develops a telephone for 200 during 200 years and continues to develop it. That is something else. So what I understood, really, it is an important point to pay attention that in each part of the universe are the manifestations of the same qualities. So it shows that this universe is the production of the one source. And this source is the owner of all these qualities at once, because we see that universe is not the product of several agents out there. Whole. The order of the universe is one and whole order. In its entirety, it has its own consistency and perfection. That is what I understood from the text.
Thank you for sharing your understandings. It helps. Alhamdulillah. Is there anyone else who wants to share something? Okay. So I think this was it, at least for the first sign. We also went over it last week. So if there are no more comments, then inshallah, we can start with the second sign and proof. But I'll just see again if there's anyone who wants to make any comments. Okay, so I think we're ready to start the second sign and proof. Bismillah. The conclusion of this is the phrase, he has no partners. The second sign and proof. The conclusion of this is the phrase, he has no partners. It is the fact that there is a faultless, perfect order in everything in the universe, from minute particles to the stars, and an utterly beautiful harmony that is free of defect. An utterly beautiful harmony that is free of defect, and a just balance that wrongs nothing. A just balance that wrongs nothing. Perfect order and balanced harmony can occur only through unity. It's a good point, actually. Perfect order and balanced harmony can occur only through unity, as in even the quality unity in itself. So I'm thinking of it as a quality. For numerous hands interfering in a single work cause only confusion. So yeah, I'm trying to, sorry, I'm just speaking out loud also while reading the text. So this perfect balance, harmony, order that we observe can only occur through this quality of unity in existence as well. Otherwise, if there's no such quality of unity, then I wouldn't observe perfect balanced order. And so for numerous hands interfering in a single work cause only confusion. So we see that in creation, several examples that we must have experienced also, where what do they say? Too many cooks spoil the broth kind of thing. So I mean, inshallah, we can come back to this sentence that is highlighted. I'd like to unpack some more on that. Come now and behold the magnificence of this order. It has made the universe into a splendid mansion, every stone of which is as full of art as a palace. So behold the magnificence of this order. It has made the universe into a splendid mansion, every stone of which is as full of art as a palace, and into a magnificent city whose endless incomings and outgoings and boundless valuable goods and foods arrive perfectly, regularly, at exactly the right time, from unexpected places, from behind the veil of the unseen. This is also an important point. The order has also transformed the universe into a miraculous book so full of meaning that each of its letters expresses the meanings of 100 lines. And each of its lines, the meanings of 100 pages. And each of its pages, the meaning of 100 chapters. And each of its chapters, the meaning of 100 books. Moreover, all its chapters, pages, lines, words, and letters look to each other and allude to each other. This is, I think, going back to how Brother Ali was explaining that every contingent part of, or constituent part of a being manifest same qualities equally as the whole being itself.
Yeah, so similar, just like the analogy of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
With each and every part, the whole is necessary to make a human being. So the universe is analogous to that as a whole macroanthropos, or a whole big human being. Where each and every part of the universe, the way it's ordered, the way it functions, even the seas and the oceans and the mountains, everything, every quality that is functioning is present, and that's what makes the universe. So the same qualities being observed in the universe is also what is being present in the human beings as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you shared also your comment, because now that sentence, perfect order and balanced harmony, can occur only through unity. So I think that makes more sense also, this quality of unity that we see prevalent around us, within us, also must point to the same source.
So in the previous section, also the first sign, the author is explaining the unity. Whatever you see, as you said, around you, and the example Brother Ali gave about the artwork, and you see the art and you wonder, where is that art coming from? The art is the sign of the one, as a conscious or knowledgeable being that has given art to the thing. So every act, every event, everything that we see around shows that it is the work of, or the art, or the administration, or the will, the power, knowledge, the regulation of that, the being who is in charge. So, and the conclusion in the first one was, he is one, ahad in Arabic. Looking at everything in the universe around you, seeing that they are the signs in them, that the qualities that you look at when you see them show that they are the work, whoever is arranging them, organizing them, are the work of the single being, or the ahad. The conclusion goes to ahad. Now the same signs in the qualities in the universe in the second sign and proof. As you were saying about looking at the order and the harmony, who can give order, harmony, balance to, let's say, the blood circulation that is happening, or the way the rivers are flowing, the way the clouds are going through, how the environment, or the rotation of the solar system and the planets, who is giving the order, balance, harmony. So that also indicates the unity, and from that unity you can also conclude that he has no partners. Lam yalid walam yulad, maybe in the as the Surah Ikhlas kind of goes, ahad, samad, lam yalid walam yulad.
Thank you. Any remarks from anyone before we proceed? Okay. Now, come and look at the perfect ordering within. Ali Murmur, go ahead.
Sorry, technical problems. I couldn't raise my hand. I think this example is to be understood at first. The author says, think of a mansion, a house, or a building, every stone of which is full of art. As a palace. Is it really true? Every stone of this house is as full of art as a palace itself is. It means every stone has a quality of art as much as the quality of the whole building has. Is it really true? The universe, of course, is the mansion. For example, human body is a universe, simply it's a universe. So think about it, and I would like to hear your voice. Do we really think that every cell, every DNA is an art as much as the whole body is an art? The same quality. Although amount is different, the numbers are different, quantitatively, it is different, but qualitatively, it's the same. Is it really true? Are we convinced about it?
A very good point you brought up here, thinking about it. But in the interim, if there's anyone who would like to share anything, go ahead, Suhail.
Assalamu alaikum. Just to answer that question, when I think about, any piece of art, you can't think about a piece of art independent of the things that make up that piece of art. So if you say the universe is magnificent or magnificently ordained or designed, you're really making a comment about everything within the universe. So that includes, let's say, the sun, and therefore the qualities that define the sun, and therefore the particles that make up the sun, and therefore the qualities that define those particles. So it's because those qualities are not manifest on just the object itself, but everything that the object is made up of. So it's like a concentric circle in that regard, just like the human body. You can talk about the design of the human body, but then you're also really talking about the organs. Let's say if we talk about it in the physical sense, the organs of the human body. And if you're talking about the organs, the cells, and if you go further and further, you can find design at every level. Because if you're saying that the body is a wise design, then really everything that makes up the body must be of a wise design. And you see that manifest if you examine if you go deeper or look deeper into something, further and further. If anything, it becomes more and more complicated the further you look down. Complicated in the sense that harder or more difficult to apprehend or grasp the nature of. So in other words, it becomes more and more sort of bewildering or unattainable as to understanding it in the physical sense or material sense.
Good point. Thank you for sharing your comments on that. Let's see what Ali Murmur has to say. Go ahead.
What is my takeaway from Suhail's comment? It's beautiful. Reminded me something, but I am ashamed of saying it, although I will say it, but please excuse me, because as if I know physics theories or something. No, it's very simple that everybody knows it. In the theory of physics, in the physics, one of the theory says the fractal theory. In this theory, it says, whatever the part you have, reminded me what Suhail told me, nothing more than what Suhail said. Reminded me that, but they say, take anything in the universe and just divide them into its parts. The same thing is, same pattern is repeated. Same pattern, same qualities are repeated. Fractal theory. But they use it for an atheistic purposes. It's the same pattern once happened to be, and then it developed by itself. This is idiotic, but how it is developed by itself, the same pattern. Is there any will and power, knowledge? That is incredible interpretation. But the fact that everybody is aware, whatever you take in the universe, in the smaller and smaller and smaller parts, you will see the same pattern. Again, it means the whole universe is the result of same pattern. What's the simple conclusion for a human mind? This same pattern has the same source. One pattern, one source. So simple. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, everyone. This is very helpful, actually, and very energizing. Really just to know that everything that we experience, observe, points to the same source at the end of the day. And that's very reassuring. Yeah, I think, layers and layers and layers of meaning, but the meaning points to the same source, but and a different
same quality.
Thank you. Interesting. Any other comments from anyone? And so while people are thinking, it's also interesting to see, I don't know, I was just looking into something someone shared a couple of weeks ago, all this DNA structure, like patterns inside a cell, like geometrical shapes and everything. It's, when you focus in, zoom in into it, it's amazing. It's a really interesting art going on. And so there's no end to any of it, but what do I attribute it to? It's just not a random happening. It's just not manifesting qualities on its own. So that was interesting, I thought. Okay. And if nobody has any more comments, then
on the same line, as full of art, the other thing is also full of meaning in the latter part of the paragraph. As the author points out, the way what's going on in the universe, the order and administration and regulation is transforming. How the transformation is basically the changes that are going on in the universe. and is turning into a miraculous book, so full of meaning. So just like each element, each brick of the palace, which representing the universe, is so full of art, each brick again is so full of meaning that each of the lines, just like you're reading a book, and you can just continue on and write poems on them based on the qualities that you experience and manifestations that you see.
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, I couldn't agree more with your comment as
That's why
well.
there's so many poets out there.
Yeah.
And songwriters who keep looking at the universe, and artists who keep drawing and based on the imagination.
And they're deep, the lyrics of
making
these
movies out of them.
Yeah. And the lyrics of the songs are just,
Inspirations
whoa.
keep coming from the art and meanings inside the universe.
Absolutely.
Every profession is working with that same art and meaning in every area.
Yeah, thank you, Austin, for sharing this. Ali Marmer, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Asim's comment reminded me a little bit, also excited me to share the feelings. Human books are accumulation of the information, sentence by sentence, building up each other, contributing and enlarging the knowledge of the subject or information about the subject. But the universe is not like this. It is very interesting at every level of the creation, as the example said, if you look at the book or, a word has the meaning as the sentence has the meaning as the paragraph has the meaning as the chapter has the meaning as the whole book. That human beings cannot do that. I mean, I'm not comparing human actions and what is going on in the universe and compare the human author with the author of the universe, but just to draw our attention. It's not a comparison. It can't be, because their essences are completely different. So one of them is accumulative, quantitative. The other one is the same quality is manifested in each part of it, each part of the book. If you study one atom, one cell, you conclude the whole qualities of the creator of that cell everywhere in the universe. That cell represents the universe. Not alone human being represents the universe. No, that cell is enough. That cell is enough of evidence to show that source of its existence must be the absolute one. The universe says also its source must be the absolute one. They proclaim the same, if you like, in quote unquote, information. But I think that was beautiful. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, everyone, for contributing. Any other excitement from anyone? Okay, if not, yeah, this is actually very interesting. This paragraph, I'm glad Brother Ali sort of brought that one up. It's how each letter expresses meaning of 100 of lines. Like, there's no end to even getting mesmerized with the meaning that get unfolded from our interactions here. And the book example is always beautiful, right? Okay. All right, so if there are no more comments, inshallah, let's move on to the next para. Now, come and look at the perfect ordering within this wondrous order. Come and look at the perfect ordering within this wondrous order. It has made the vast universe as clean as a modern city. That's exactly what I was thinking about earlier. It has made the vast universe as clean as a modern city, or made it into a fine palace, which is constantly swept and polished, or a houri of paradise wearing 70 ornamented garments, one on top of the other, or an immaculate rosebud enwrapped in 70 delicate ornamented petals. So interesting. I think like all the qualities that we see manifested moment to moment, day in, day out. There's no end to it. I think, yeah. Well, Ali Murmur, go ahead.
That is incredible. It solves the problem for many people who study hadith. They say, the huris, I mean, the beautiful creatures in paradise will have a body or a type of creation, 70 layers. You will see the very marrow of the bones as well. They say, oh, it is disgusting. I don't want to see. So what does this kind of description of beauty in paradise? Now, as soon as you read this paragraph, I said, that's it, no problem. The prophetic teaching is so deep, so wonderful. When you see in one chapter, every single sentence, every single word in the chapter includes the same quality, reflects the same quality within each other. In the prophetic language, 70 layers. And you will see the bones narrow, the narrow of the bones, inside the bones even. What does it mean? Exactly it is as it is described here. So beautifully and meaningfully, 70 ornamented garments on top of each other. And still you will see the marrow. What does it mean? It is what we have been talking. You will see all layers on top of each other, not preventing the meaning behind them or within their lower layers, underneath. They are all transparent, pointing to the same absolute qualities. Wow, this, I mean, nomad, but maybe the prophet wasn't nomad, but this shepherd, it was a shepherd. How can you think that a shepherd doesn't know how to read and write even? No book is in the whole town. No education system talks in this way. Come on, it is impossible. But in a very beautiful allegoric teaching that 20th century, maybe not before 20th century, this reality has been understood actually. This fractal theory is, I think, 18th century background. It has developed. But the unity of the universe is understood by the Muslims very early, by the Europeans towards the 14th century. After thousands of scientists, professional experts are working on the subject, they understood that universe is just the layers of the same qualities, nothing else. Same art pattern, nothing else. Same qualities, nothing else. How about the shepherd? in middle of nowhere, no civilization, nothing, will speak in this way. Or when you were, my microphone was muted, when you were reading this, mashallah, wow, I said, what a miraculous hadith it was. I was amazed. I couldn't stop sharing my amazement with you. Thank you.
Mashallah, thank you so much for sharing all your amazement. It's amazing to also ponder over it. So anyone else would want to share anything? Okay. All right, so then let's move on to the next paragraph. You have something to share?
I also said like how, we like rosebuds or something that's beautiful. As a similar like symbology to the huri, the qualities that we see, something that we would like or we like here. That's the explanation Brother Ali kind of shared. And it says delicate, ornamented petals, looks like very, each and every is so precious and amazing and wondrous, each quality, that we really like it. It's something pleasing for us.
That's interesting. Go ahead, Ali Murmur.
Even further than what Asim said, they are complementing each other. They are reflecting the qualities of each other at a different scale, but the same quality, the same qualities at a different stage. Yes, rose is beautiful. One, how is it called?
Petal?
Petal, thank you. One petal is beautiful. When you put the petal under the microscope, you will see that every dot on the petal is perfectly beautiful, as well designed. All together make one rosebud. But each of the part complement each other, but every part has the same qualities complementing the whole beauty of the rosebud. That is how the universe is. One of the verses very interesting in the Rahman chapter of the Quran. It says that when the universe turns into a rose red bud, it means lately some later generation commentaries said the universe looks like must be, although we don't know it is limits or boundaries, but it must be like a rosebud, beautiful. Each part complements each other, confirms each other, reflects the same quality, and makes the harmony of the creation together. But one day people may understood that some galaxies have the shape of a rose. I have seen on YouTube or somewhere, I think on YouTube they published long ago, I think it was maybe 20, 30 years ago, the picture of a galaxy looks like exactly a rose. So some people refer this picture to this verse in the Rahman. When I try to remember it, it doesn't come. So when you read it, you may find it somewhere.
Wardatan kaddihan.
Kettihan, yes. Wardatan Kettihan. What was the whole verse, please?
I have to look it up. I can't remember exactly. 1 second.
Well, where did I get that? Come on, man. I can
فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان.
Yeah, well, yes. فكانت وردة كالدهان. Yeah, the warda is the really warda is a rosebud, a rose. Thank you. It is, mashallah. It's beautiful. These kind of descriptions, and also all the, for example, this 70 ornamented garments are taken from hadith narration. It is just hadith actually. So, and also the rosebud unwrapped in 70 delicate ornamented petals also are taken from the Quran. Yeah, rose colored, like murky oil. No, okay, translations are translations. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, rose verde is the red, dark red color of the rose. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you everyone for sharing this. So
That was really exciting to hear with the reference of Surah Rahman.
Yeah, good to know.
Beautiful.
All right, so let's move on to the next paragraph. If nobody has any more comments. Now come and consider the perfect justice of the balance within the order and cleanliness. The perfect justice of the balance within the order and cleanliness. Microscopic organisms that are visible only on a 1,000-fold magnification are weighed up on those scales and balances together with suns and stars 1,000 times larger than the earth. Microscopic organisms that are visible only on a 1,000-fold magnification are weighed up on those scales and balances together with suns and stars 1,000 times larger than the earth, and all are given their necessities without deficiency. Wow, they're all given their necessities without deficiency. Those minute creatures and those vast beings stand shoulder to shoulder before the scales of justice, despite their being among the large ones. Some that if they were to lose their balance, even for a split second, it would destroy the equilibrium of the world and doomsday would occur. SubhanAllah, this is, wow, this is really, I have no words for that, but it's interesting like how every little thing, creature, tiniest organism is playing a huge role in terms of balancing the whole universe, ecosystem, or the human body, or everything, I would say. So this is something to ponder over.
The justice of balance.
Yeah, this is interesting. Justice of balance. So there's a
Order and cleanliness.
yeah, the usage of the word. So there's justice in this balancing act. Small organism, big organism, doesn't matter, right? It's employed in a balanced way, and so that manifests justice. So I cannot say that, oh, something is manifesting a quality on a larger scale has more value as opposed to a small organism manifesting, to me, which may seem manifesting a quality on a less larger scale. But there is perfect justice in that.
So each and every particle or each and every element, organism, from the large planets to the smallest particle, are placed, are regulated, are ordered with that. Each, if the balance or the way they're placed or the way they're behaving or the way they're standing just like it says, standing shoulder to shoulder with perfect equilibrium and precision and harmony. That is an amazing way that each and every thing is necessary the way it is. So we balance and justice is there in the way the things exist.
Yeah, I think it's all the order. Like within the order, there's balance and justice. Let's say if I don't clean something like the dishes, just leave it for a week like that, then obviously whatever is within the order is going to be manifested there, as opposed to following the order. So there's perfect justice in the order being followed or me following the order. So I think. All right. Does anybody have any comments on this?
Yeah, how do we understand this sentence? Like, those minute creatures and those vast beings stand shoulder to shoulder before the scales of justice, despite their being among the large ones, and some that if they were to lose their balance, even for a split second, it would destroy the equilibrium of the world and doomsday would occur.
Good inquiry. So we're wondering about this last statement that is highlighted. Those minute creatures and those vast beings stand shoulder to shoulder before the scales of justice. So what does it mean? Standing like that? Like, what is the author trying to say here? Despite their being among the large ones, some that if they were to lose their balance, even for a split second, it would destroy the equilibrium of the world and doomsday would occur. Does anybody want to share out what they took away from this last piece that is highlighted? Okay, Hatice Beza, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. I don't know if it will answer this question, but I wanted to share some thoughts which I think are related. But I was thinking about how, in the way in which all of these qualities are interwoven together, and that even within a single orange, I can see and experience the manifestation of all these qualities. So I don't need to travel the world, or I don't even really need to move really to have access to these qualities. In the same way, the existence of the absoluteness of one quality, let's say the quality of creatorship, the absolute creator, the quality of absolute creatorship, in its existence necessitates absoluteness of all the other qualities that I see as well. It must necessarily be so. So, like, for example, power and compassion and justice, etc. But I guess from my human perspective, it is sometimes easier to see certain qualities stand out more on something more than other qualities. But that's more due to the limitedness of my own vision rather than that of reality. Yet at the same time, I don't think it is like, just with this example here, like for example, the perfect justice of balance within the order and cleanliness, the quality of justice, the absoluteness of quality of justice necessitates the quality of order and cleanliness as well. Although it doesn't occur to me right away when you say justice, I don't think of cleanliness immediately. But when I think about it, it does necessitate it in its existence if one is absolute. And I can definitely conclude the absoluteness of the source of existence to begin with. And then last 2 points maybe is that because of the limitedness of my own perspective, I don't think it is humanly really possible to grasp how far extending and all comprehensive these qualities are. Just here with just like with the author highlighting like 2 or 3 qualities and just thinking about how expansive that is, it's mind-blowing in a way. And that's just this particular thing that's highlighted. Now there's like endless different qualities that are connected to one another in endless ways. So it's the only thing I can really grasp is that I can't really grasp it at all. And I think last point was that in relation to the comment that Awesome highlighted, I don't know to what extent it might be related, but I was just thinking about the common example of bees, right? Being these tiny insects, yet playing such a crucial role in the universe, in the order of the universe, as far as the order of the universe is concerned. So, and if we were to take that one thing out of the equation, and there are endless things that you can replace with the bee, then it just all goes out of order. It becomes imbalanced. Yet, and here's the other thing, it's all being maintained at all times, and it's so easy to take it for granted until something happens. I guess it's kind of like health as well. You know, you don't really realize everything until one thing is taken away just in a small percentage, and then you're like, I never noticed how important that was. But anyways, I think it's just mind-blowing at the same time to think about like how all of these qualities are just interwoven together, manifesting at all times, on everything, on every level, both in space and time dimensions, at all times. I just can't really grasp it fully, but yeah, those were just some of my takeaways.
Alhamdulillah, very good thoughts, Hatice Beza. Thank you for sharing. You're right in terms of how all the qualities pretty much point to the absoluteness of the source of existence of things, and it's just a matter of noticing and really, I think at every moment questioning the order itself in terms of with everything that we are interacting with. Then we should be able to expand more towards the absoluteness of the qualities. Really, it doesn't matter what qualities that we are interacting with. So
yeah, another good point to highlight is about, we just use the word order, right? And that order is encompasses so many qualities that, as the author is saying, within the order you can see art, within the order you can see meaning, within the order you can see balance, harmony, justice. You know, that order is just one of those umbrella terms now that I see it. How everything, you know, within the way it's arranged and organized, within the way it functions, is nothing but all the qualities that are just being manifested at the same time, everywhere, continuously.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Any other comments from anyone? If not, then we can proceed to the next paragraph on page 39. Now, come and behold the wondrously attractive beauty within the order, cleanliness, and balance. Come and behold the wondrously attractive beauty within the order, cleanliness, and balance. It has made the vast universe into a splendid festival, an exhibition of highly decorated works, and the springtime with freshly opened flowers. The vast spring, too, it has made into a beautiful flower pot and gorgeous bunch of blooms. And to each spring it has given the form of a magnificent flower with hundreds of thousands of adornments, which opens every season on the face of the earth. This is very interesting, actually. Oh. All the flowers of the spring it has beautified with every sort of decoration. All the flowers of the spring it has beautified with every sort of decoration. Yes, through the beautiful manifestations of the most beautiful names, which possess the utmost beauty and loveliness. All the realms of beings in the universe and all the members of each manifest such beauty according to their capacities that Hoja al-Islam Imam Ghazali said, "There can be nothing better or more beautiful than what exists in the sphere of contingency." Thus, this all-encompassing, captivating beauty and general, wondrous cleanliness and all-pervasive, exceedingly sensitive balance. Exceedingly sensitive balance. Delicate balance and comprehensive and in every way miraculous order and harmony are such proofs and signs of divine unity that they are clearer and more brilliant than the light that indicates the sun at noon. Interesting. Still gathering my thoughts here, but if anyone wants to share out their highlights or anything about this, feel free to jump in. So I think it's pretty much highlighting what I observe, the qualities that I observe.
So the quality of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
particularly within the order and cleanliness of and balance.
So, I mean, it attracts everyone, beauty, right?
So, yeah. So continue as you were saying that everything you observe in the universe.
Like anything that's beautiful attracts our gaze, and so it's a deliberate setup. So, and also because I was also thinking in terms of if everything was just beautiful throughout the year, if there was no other season, if it was only spring, then I won't even pay attention, or maybe to that beauty. So that's why we were given different flavors, so then you start appreciate it more and better and you long for it. Anyways, let me still gather my thoughts here. I mean, so you long for like the eternal beauteous one, not just next spring, for just like 5-10 days. So I'm not waiting for that kind of beauty, but like it just points me to and one that's manifesting this beauty. But I see Sohail, his hand is up. Go ahead.
What I found interesting was the quote he has from Imam Ghazali saying, "There can be nothing better or more beautiful than what exists in the sphere of contingency." It was interesting, if because it's really asking the question, can you imagine an existence or a universe different than this that is more that is a better designed or more perfect, so to speak, to demonstrate his qualities or his most beautiful names. And really, when I think about it, you can't really come up with anything better than this, primarily because, as he points out, you do see the manifestation of beauty in this world, And at the same time, you find it that there is beauty in this world. It still points you or directs you back to, you know, an all beauteous one, or one who can manifest eternal beauty. Um, you know, the world, in other words, is perfectly set up or oriented and designed such that you can't find a place where you don't see the manifestation of his names, his most beautiful names. But at the same time, as he says, to the degree that they can to reflect. So every flower is a bit different, just like every human being is a bit different, and even amongst different species, or different things. So between man and, let's say, a plant, um, they all have their individual particular reflections, but at the same time, they still take you back to him. Um, all of them to the same one. Um, so in this regard, I don't, as the quote says, uh, I can't really think of anything better or more beautiful than uh, anything that exists in this world. Like, in other words, a more or a better designed existence. Um, so, and the other thing I would add is, um, things are. You can't think of something more beautiful than this. Also, because in another respect, is because it's been made beautiful by, or every one thing in this universe has been made beautiful by the same one. In other words, he's the one that must beautify it, uh, an absolute source. So, how can you really imagine something more beautiful than something that was designed by an absolute source to begin with? It's impossible.
Oh, yeah, thank you for sharing your comment. Interesting. Also, because this universe is what I'm experiencing right now, and all these qualities that are manifested is what I experience, and how else would I get to know also that which I long for, also in terms of through beauty manifested here, then the human spirit yearn for the absolute source of beauty, or an eternal beauteous one. And another point also with this saying here is that this is the sphere of contingency also here. So whatever I see manifested, it must be dependent on something, or like an author or an artist, not of the nature of this universe. So I think from this I can conclude that this universe is like the perfect platform for me to not only utilize my human qualities, but also utilize them in a way where I go on in my journey to fulfill the purpose of my existence, in terms of really connecting my existence to this eternal, beauteous one. Okay. Any other little beautiful comments from anyone? Okay. Alrighty. So there. Okay. So let's looking at the time as well, and looking at what's ahead. Okay, I think if nobody has anything to add, then we can proceed with this next question here, and then let's see where that takes us. Sean? All right, there follows a very concise yet powerful reply to a two-part question related to the station. A very concise yet powerful reply, okay? So there's a two-part question, so let's see. So the first part of the question, you are saying in this station that beauty, good, and justice encompass the universe. Beauty, good, and justice encompass the universe. So what do you say to all the ugliness, disasters, illness, tribulations, and death we see around us? Very good question.
And a common question.
The answer, exactly. The answer is single instance of ugliness, which results in or shows up numerous instances of beauty, is indirectly an instance of beauty. A single instance of ugliness which results in or shows up numerous instances of beauty is indirectly an instance of beauty. Yeah, I think that's very obvious. While the non-existence of an ugliness, oh, hey, there he goes with the non-existent stuff again. I don't know, somehow it freaks me out, all these words. Okay, so while the non-existence of an ugliness or its being invisible, which then conceals numerous instances of beauty and does not permit them to be seen, is not a single but a manifold ugliness. An example, thank God. For example, if an ugliness, which is a unit of measurement, is non-existent, get it? Okay. The beauty would be of only one sort, and its numerous degrees would remain concealed. So if an ugliness, which is a unit of measurement, is non-existent, the beauty would be of only one sort, and its numerous degrees would remain concealed. For it is through the intervention of ugliness that the degrees of beauty unfold. Just as the degrees of heat become apparent through the existence of cold and the degrees of light are known through darkness, so universal instances of good, universal benefits, universal bounties, and universal instances of beauty become apparent through there being minor instances of evil, harm, calamities, and ugliness. This means that the creation of ugliness is not ugly, it is beautiful because the majority of its results are beautiful. Yes, a lazy man or woman who suffers loss due to the rain cannot deny the good results it produces in the name of mercy. He cannot transform the mercy into harm. Yeah, I think so. Pretty much in a nutshell, if I did not experience a unit of dark, I mean, like, how do I define darkness? Is really lack of light. So I think, so light is in existence, but what I define darkness is really lack of light. Similarly, beauty is in existence, but what I define to be ugly is really lack of beauty from my perception. And I think we've gone through scenarios like that in the past also. If there was no experiencing of illness, just like Hatice Bey's also pointed out, everything is perfectly functioning and suddenly something goes wrong, a malfunction in the body or something, then my consciousness gets alerted that, whoa, what's going on? So it's I think pinpointing how do I appreciate, or not only, first of all, how do I appreciate the different qualities that I experience, is only by experiencing the lack of it, which in turn help me connect to the source of its existence, which is an absolute eternal one. And that's about it, I think, for now. But if anyone has anything to add here, feel free to go ahead. Oh, Ali Murmur, go ahead, please.
I think this is a new subject. new to the previous chapters that we read. Let's start from this next week, and the following must be the extension of this subject, so we can keep the entirety, completeness of the subject. So if we start, it is already, the time is already up, and I wouldn't like to make any comment on it and go into detailed analysis of it as much as we can. What do you think? Shall we leave it to the next week?
Inshallah, very good idea. So yeah, that'll be a good place to start next week and delve deeper into it. Alrighty, thank you all for participating and sharing your thoughts and ideas. It was very helpful and beneficial. Inshallah, until next time. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati sirri suratil Fatiha.